As we get started working with Illustrator, there's a couple things that I want to go over and just to show you, because it'll be a little bit easier to explain it than to try to hope you'll figure it out. I'm just going to go into my Launchpad and I'll launch Illustrator. I'm using CS6, which is a little bit older now, but I'm not going to be doing anything super different or super unusual for CS6. CS6 is the last version that you could buy without using a subscription plan. Sometimes when you open it, this might happen. You've got the workspace up here, but you don't actually have a work area. So easy enough to fix. We just do File, New, and that will give us a workspace. You can modify the sizes. It doesn't really matter right now. So you've got your tools over here. You've got some modifications of your tools up here. So as we click different things, some of this will change to reflect the tool that we're currently using. Now the best thing to do is really just to go in and play with things, try it out, see what happens, see what different tools do. I do want to show you a few things really fast, so I'm just going to use some shape tools to show you a couple things. So let's make this yellow, and let's go ahead and make no stroke. And I will draw out my circle, and I'm going to hold Shift so that way the proportions lock. So now I've got a nice big circle here. And I'm not going to draw anything complicated. I'm just going to draw a smiley face. So let's give him a couple eyes. So switch the circle to black and draw one circle. And instead of trying to draw the other one the exact same size, I'm actually just going to make sure it's selected and Command C and Command V to copy and paste. If you're on a PC, it's Control C and Control V. So we've got the eyes, and now we just need the mouth. And for that, I'm going to jump to the Pen tool and make a point maybe there, and that looks about right. Doesn't have to be perfect for right now. And I'm holding down and dragging to try to get a decent semicircle. And that's alright. I didn't actually want it to be filled, so let's switch that to no, and we'll switch this to the outline color, to having a color there. If I switch to my selection tool, I should be able to deselect and click back onto it to be able to modify the weight of the stroke. There we go. And that looks pretty good to me. I can modify the ends as well with some of these different things to make him look the way that I want. So a basic smiley, I could make this a little bit better, but it's fine to start with just to show you an important difference between Illustrator and some of the other programs. So Illustrator is vector-based. That means that everything that you create is made out of math. And you can see these little blue lines on things. That's the mathematical equation for that line or that shape or whatever it may be. So because it's drawn from math, when I zoom in, it doesn't matter how much I zoom in, everything will still look very nice and sharp and perfect, because each time I zoom in, it's redrawing the pixels from that mathematical equation. Now if I zoom out, and let's pull in a different example, so we'll just move this little guy over here. And here's a smiley I created earlier in a different program, a program that is not vector-based. If I drag this in, I've got the smiley here. It's a similar size, the color is similar, a little different, but close enough. Some of the proportions are a little different, but you get the idea, close enough. Now if I zoom in on this, even though I'm in Illustrator, which is vector-based, if I start zooming in on this, you're going to start seeing pixels. It's already noticeably pixelated in comparison, and that's because this was created in a raster-based software. So it's defining the image pixel by pixel, not with math, but instead each pixel. So when you zoom in, it's not redrawing it, it's just increasing the size of the pixels, and you start to see this blockiness. Now even though I brought this into Illustrator, it wasn't created in Illustrator, and so that's why you see this pixelation even though we're in Illustrator. So you can't just bring a raster-based image into Illustrator and expect it to be perfect. It doesn't work that way. So now that you understand the base difference between Illustrator, a vector-based program, and some of the others, now just try a few things out. I've shown you just a couple tools, but there's lots here that you can play with. And there's different things that you can do up here. Worst case scenario, Command Z to undo, Or if you're really not sure if you did something strange, you can always quit and just relaunch it.